my name is David Hartful. I'm here with Black Leadership Analysis, and today we're going to talk about the suppression of protesting in the state of Florida done by DeSantis. I think this is an important conversation because there's a good chance DeSantis will be running for president in the future. So we need to, before we even get started on that conversation, we need to understand what kind of person DeSantis is and what we could be getting ourselves into if he becomes more and more powerful. So me and Trish, this is Trish Brown from the Tallahassee Community Action Committee. We met at a protest on the Capitol for voting rights, and she was telling me about all the different things with the voter protesting the protester suppression going on in Florida. So I decided we should have an interview about it to document what's all happening and get the word out to more people so we can move in a proper way electorally. So this is Trish Brown, as I've said earlier, from the Tallahassee Community Action Committee. And we're going to concentrate this interview on the protester suppression that is going on in Florida, because many people don't understand how bad it's gotten and how they've destroyed the First Amendment in Florida. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Trish, did I do a good job introducing you? Is there something you want to add?
Yeah. Again, my name is Trish Brown. That's Trish, Brown, Brown. I'm from the Tallahassee Community Action Committee. I'm the Director of Community Outreach and Engagement. I also belong to a couple of other groups like Florida Rising, and I alliance with like several organizations throughout Florida and across the nation and across the seas. My whole mission is to definitely fight for and win in the Black liberation that all Black people deserve. I'm also here for the working class and the LGBTQ plus two pan families and friends. I absolutely am in solidarity and a comrade to all those who are fighting against political injustices. Being connected and a part of Florida Immigrant Coalition, fighting for immigrants and refugees. I'm an advocate here in Tallahassee for the Congolese refugees and other African immigrants that have have been settling here and struggle with that, trying to be settled and to have the respect, dignity, and prosperity that all of us deserve. So that's kind of what I do in a little bit of a nutshell, other than just being a Black Lives Matter leader here in my local community. Fighting for mutual aid, for disaster victims and for our communities and so much more.
Yes. So how did you first get started into activism? What was when you very first began activism, what was your cause and how did you get into it?
I actually got into activism when I didn't even understand what the word was. I come from generation poverty. My mom, she was, working in the fields, picking cotton and tobacco and peanuts. My dad didn't really get a education at all, so he didn't know how to read or write. As far as my mom was concerned, she had to sacrifice working in the fields to feed 18 other children. So she had dropped out of school in the 6th grade. They didn't have time to really teach me about activism or rights or anything like that, due to the fact that they were so struggling to focus on trying to survive and keep food on the table and to feed me and our families. But the thing is that somehow I feel like God has a way of doing things, whether we realize it or not. His plan is different from our plan. So I fell into activism in 1999, and not realizing that that's what I was doing when Mandela got freed and he did a tour across the US. I was asked by my African leader, as far as for Holyoke Community College. She's our consultant and our advisor about what did we want to do with our funds. It was during the summer, and I didn't I didn't really think that I was the one to be asked to do that, as far as like wondering what to do with the money. But she said, if you don't use it, then you're going to lose it. So I decided that Mandela was coming, and he was going to be in Boston, Massachusetts, where I'm born. And I had decided, or better yet, I asked, did she feel okay about me organizing? And I didn't even know I was organizing at that time. About like getting other colleges to get connected with us and to journey to Boston and to be a part of the rally that was happening there, and listen to Mandela speak and all the others that were participating. And I thought that was history, because of apartheid and the silencing and the racism. So my thing was is that I was like, join us, Mount Holyoke College, join us, University of Massachusetts, join us, AIC and Springfield Technical Community College and other colleges surrounding. Just come as you are. I got buses for us. Let's go and be a part of history and stand up for, the freedom to speak and to an end to apartheid and racism. And it was successful. It was amazing. And I got to be a part of that. And I did crowd control and all those other things. But I realized that after that, then I was organizing without realizing I was organizing. Then I came to Tallahassee. My mom and dad died back to back, and I had nothing. So my thing is that I was invited to the Poor People's Campaign's assembly that they were having at the Florida People's Advocacy Center. And when I got involved with them, a lot of things resonated with what I was being impacted by, and so many of us in our communities. It's either one, you know somebody that has been put in jail, or you have been put in jail. As far as like how I've seen it in my life. So the thing is that a lot of things as far as like lifting up people who have been incarcerated, fighting against the poverty impacted, environmentalism, militarism, capitalism. That's what started me. After my mom and dad died, seeing that they died with nothing, without a penny, as hard as they had worked. Something was wrong here. Something's wrong in this country when you work to the fingers of your bones and you have nothing to show for or to pass on to the generations in your family. It says that we're not being treated equally. It says that we are not getting the same equality, resources, and provided aid that white rich folks get in our society. So it's time to make a change. And being previously incarcerated, I am proud to say that I'm absolutely about fighting for restorative justice in our society, and to like constantly, if I have to, with tooth and nail, to defend the First Amendment right to freedom of speech, because that's so important for us, for our youth, and for the children to come. I want to die knowing that they have freedom. And I want to see absolutely in my lifetime the freedom that all of us deserve, young and old. So it's time we get up off our seats and start uniting together in solidarity to make the change that we want in this world. So that's why I'm driven by this. It's not, for me, it's not about like, this is my passion. And I've been complimented on you finding your passion. And I think that's kind of slightly an insult when it comes down to being poverty impacted by generation poverty, and by the system that has like shut the doors on us. We're struggling to try to keep food on the table and clothes on our backs and our babies fed. So the thing is that it's not a matter of passion. It's a matter of surviving. It's instinctive that we want to fight for freedom. It's instinctive that we want to fight to to like keep from dying, keep from going hungry. This is about us surviving. This is about us staying alive and us trying to thrive and be the best that we want to be, and to be left alone to do that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And it's yeah, I mean that's so much. It's not even about a personal passion anymore. I think it's a big problem when people start talking about what they should do with their life and stuff, looking at it from a personal standpoint. It's so much bigger than you. And this is why we're here. You know what I mean? And it the struggle for freedom, it impacts everybody Black. And to fight against it, you have to put so much of your time and energy into it that it takes away from you doing other stuff you'd want to do. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Right.
that's just how it's going to be. It's not even about personally having passion. It's just about people need to really get this ability to get free like this and everything. So
Yeah, because the thing is that like, folks have asked me like, what is poverty to you? And, a lot of people, when we say think of poverty, we think of hunger, and that's absolutely real. But when I think of poverty, as a Black person, I think of the two things that impact us that keeps us from thriving. And that is that we don't have time, and we are continuing to be silenced.
yeah,
Silencing and time is what impacts us, because we don't have the time to write a memoir, backpack across Europe, start a business, go to the movies, do whatever it is that you want. And definitely with being a part of the movement. The thing is that we don't have time. Our time is working a 9 to 5, working 2 and 3 jobs, trying to make ends meet, trying to take care of the kids when we get home. Some of us are single parents, trying to like keep, folks, keep our children and our families lifted. We don't have that time to do the things that we want to do in our lives. I look at Hemingway and all of them, and how they wrote books and stuff, and Edgar Allan Poe. All these people like wrote books and were allowed to do this. We don't have time to write a book
yeah,
because we're steadily trying to like survive. We're trying to steadily eat. The other thing is that as far as silencing, we've been whipped and tied up and chained and beat down, and put fear in us. Even on our jobs, we're not allowed to say anything without feeling like we're jeopardizing our jobs. We're threatened by that. We're threatened by the system, that if we open up our mouths, then we're going to get hurt. This is going to impact us some kind of way. This is going to threaten us some kind of way. And so we keep quiet. And that's the one thing that we got to stop doing. We can't keep quiet anymore. We can't be afraid to show ourselves. We can't be afraid to put ourselves out there. We cannot be afraid to talk to the media. We can't be afraid to talk to our city officials or these legislators, or to the people out there, period. Because the thing is that the things that impact me are the very things that impact you. So when you use your voice, you're really resonating to so many people out there that are going through the same thing. When we start to use our voices and start like really getting the word out there about like what has happened to us or how we've been impacted, and not being afraid to be open about like those things that like we've gone through, and stop making poverty, sound like, be a crime. The thing is that that's when you'll start giving folks hope. That's when, folks will be like, I'm going through that same thing. I need to stand up too, that they're not alone. Because the thing is that at one time I thought I was alone. And until I heard like some folks like talking in the Poor People's Campaign, I realized after like being in that assembly, being connected with the Poor People's Campaign, I realized that I was not alone. And they gave me the platform, and they gave me the inspiration and the lifting to like speak up and speak out about my truth and what I have gone through. And I'm hoping that that resonates with everyone to the point of where we're never afraid. None of us, are afraid to like say what's happening, to speak out what's happening to us. Because the thing is that if we keep quiet, nobody knows what's going on. And, white supremacists and racist folks will try to pretend like, oh, we're fine. They're fine. They're not complaining. They're okay. And these crumbs are good enough for us,
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's where we're at here. So it's, like I said, silencing and time. That's like, keeping the system going.
So, what made you decide to run for city council in Tallahassee?
What made me decide was after we stopped the Tallahassee Community Action Committee, TCAC is who I'm with as well. I joined them right around the same time I joined the Poor People's Campaign in 2018. I actually am a co-founding member of Tallahassee Community Action Committee, and we, of course, we are we're a local grassroots organization that's dedicated to fighting, against fighting for peace, justice, and the equality that we all want. But when I joined them, and when I started working together to build TCAT, I started realizing through all of the organizations that I was like dealing with, and with working together with our county commissioner, Bill Proctor, TCAC managed to stop TPD headquarters from being on the south side of town. We already have too many police already, as far as like, there's like, there seems to be a police for every man, woman, and child, as far as like Black woman and child in Tallahassee. And then all of a sudden, we want to put $60 million into a TPD headquarters on the south side. $60 million could go towards, giving equity and resources and jobs and green infrastructures, as far as like in our Black communities. That could be dumped into our poor, poverty impacted communities. So the thing is that we went ahead and we decided that like we were going to take that. So we, like I said, we worked with Bill Proctor. We came up with literature to like share with the community to make them aware of just what type of impact the $60 million TPD headquarters was going to do. And that was, it's when you put a police headquarters in the south side of town or in a poverty impacted side of town, you're pretty much like saying like, this is gentrification that we're working on. They're just not going to come out and say, hey, we want you to move. They're not just going to tell Black people you need to go, you need to move somewhere else.
Yeah.
There's a plan to that and stuff. And it starts with putting more police in the community and putting a headquarters on that side of town, raising up the value of the property, raising that. And if the property value goes up, guess what? The taxes go up. And if the taxes go up, then that renter or that landlord has to like raise his rent because the taxes got to be paid, right? So if you have your own home, again, the value is going to go up, but your taxes are going to go up. But, if you're already poor and you're struggling to try to like keep that roof over your head, how are you going to be able to pay the rent? Or how are you going to be able to pay the taxes? Because you, as a homeowner or in a poverty impacted community, you're struggling to try to like, even like, fix the roof, fix the floors, fix the plumbing, do the siding, whatever, landscaping or whatever. So the thing is that you can't afford to live there. So you move, and then guess who comes in and swoops down?
Speculators.
Right. So the thing is that they buy up your homes, they buy up your, of course, Black people got to like migrate to somewhere else outside of, and that's, their memories are gone, their memories taken away from them. That's when they bulldoze down, put up new put up new buildings, put up new homes, parks and stuff like that. And we're left, being pushed out, and our history taken away from us. So that's that I couldn't stand for, and neither could TCAC. And so when city commissioners tried to tell us that it was a done deal and that it's black on black crime, which is racist to me saying that, because there's much white crime on white crime out there, but you don't hear folks hollering about white on white crime. But my thing is that they told us it was a done deal. They told us that the blueprints were out. They said that the contracts were signed, and we didn't listen to them. We continue to keep mobilizing and educating the people on the south side of town that, this is what's gonna impact you if you allow this TPD headquarters to be built on the south side. Again, that's over policing. Again, it's going to raise the property value, and that's going to cause you to have to come up with more money to hold that down, or to keep, the rent will be raised. So you're going to have to pay more rent. And then on top of that, you got to pay for the police to be over there. So your utilities are going to go up on top of that. They didn't, once you start to and then we continue to have these community town halls to connect with folks, to let them know and understand, and that we need you to get into city commission and speak, and say, hey, we don't want this. This is our money. We all pay taxes here. The budget, as far as that $60 million, needs to go towards, be reallocated and, dumped into the community. So we succeeded in stopping the TPD headquarters from being on that side of town. After that, then I started to understand that what made me want to run was that I know that we needed people at the table. No more politicians, no more suits and ties at the table, no more rich people at the table. We need people from the community at the table, those who know exactly what is going on in our communities and know what we need. So many leaders in the poverty impacted community, but they're not heard. It's unfortunate. You have to have money, they say, to run for these local, local official seats. That's capitalism. So unfortunately, unfortunate is that those leaders in our communities can't be heard because they don't have the funds, they don't have the money to be lifted up as far as put in those seats. But me running for city commission made I did something unprecedented, and that was I ran and I won 13 districts as far as first and second place with the incumbent Curtis Richardson. I did that with a handful of volunteers as far as canvassers. And I did this with a brilliant but inexperienced campaign manager. And we did it on a budget of $1,200. 7,326 votes, 16.87% of those votes in Tallahassee, and 800 votes away from beating our incumbent Curtis Richardson. So I'm here to say that you don't really need money, because in my platform, I even said I'm not taking money from corporations or any other businesses that are not for the people. I just want the people's vote. I just want the people's, I want them to make that decision as far as do I become city commissioner? But I realized that we needed us at the table, not just me, but we need all our community people at the table, because we know the answers. And again, we're tired and we've been fed up with that budget not really being progressively used in, to support and lift up the people in our homes and in our community. So the thing is that, that's why TCAC has gone on to develop, under Delilah Pierre, our field organizer. We developed the people's budget. And this is to challenge and to demand that, like, our city officials put down the city budget and to, like, actually, like, take on the people's budget, which means that, like, all of that money that's, like, going towards, like, a chunk of it is going towards, like, policing. So the thing is that a lot of that money needs to be, like, cut off and actually spread it out, and actually, like, focused on resources and education and jobs and green infrastructures and transportation and food resources, and aid, and healthcare, in our education. So it's about time that we start investing in people. So it's, instead of these corporations. So that's what, why I feel that it's important that we are at the table. It's the reason why I decided to run for city commission, because I felt like it was important to have people who are grassroots organizers, community leaders, that have passion, love, and are willing to sacrifice, for people to get the prosperity, the equality, and the equity that we all deserve in our community. We need people like that are compassionate and that are about taking care of us. So the only people that's going to take care of us is us.
Yeah.
So we take care of us. So my thing is that, yeah, we need us at the table for transparency and inclusiveness as to what our money is being used for. And that's why I felt like if we could get people like me to the table, then we can pull the rest of our community in, and they can be a part of that decision making for a change. I mean, this is the change that we need.
That's a great rundown of why you felt compelled to run. So did you run in a party? Did you run as a Democrat, or did you run as a complete independent?
It's non-bipartisan. It's not Republican or Democrat as far as, like, being a city commission, or a county commission for that matter. So again, it's, we are in certain districts and everything. We cover certain districts, but the thing is that in all, like, when the city commissions all come together, as far as, like, the five, they are the ones that make the decision in regards to the budget, along with the city manager.
Okay.
So no, it's non-bipartisan. It's non-bipartisan. It's definitely not a Democrat or Republican party thing.
That's interesting.